Excuse me. Good morning. No. Well, this morning, for me, I've been awake for a while. I had to work this morning, unfortunately. But hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not, and welcome to the next review on Christmas week. And we are looking at Bad Santa. Now, there's a story with this. I was going to review this last year. Started watching it, right? The DVD copy I had froze up, stopped working. It was bad, it wasn't good. It's one of those I got from my mom. Didn't work. So I had to substitute that with The Grinch, starring Jim Carrey. So now here I am. And originally, it was supposed to be, Elf, and then this, so it's like a family-friendly one, then R-rated. But I ended up doing, 3 R-rated ones with reindeer games. This Christmas party in this. This is an acquired taste, I'll tell you that right now. Now, many people are going to put this in and think, okay, this is a good movie. Some people might put this in and be like, why am I watching this? This is terrible. Bad Santa tells the story of Willie T. Soak, played by Billy Bob Thornton, who is a disgruntled mall Santa who does it to not just make money, but steal from department stores. At one point, he does mention that when he's not Santa Claus, he has no job after Christmas until March, and he becomes the Easter Bunny. I don't know about you. I know they made a sequel to this, but I would have loved to have seen a sequel where he's the Easter Bunny. Call it Bad Bunny. There's already a Bad Bunny. But that Bad Bunny wasn't around when the sequel would have come out. So this came out in 2003. So the sequel, Bad Bunny, as you would call it, will come out in 2005-ish, right? Wouldn't take, 13 years like this new one did. Originally, I was going to get the second one to do, but I decided against it. Maybe next year I'll do it. Who knows? Next year might be the year of sequels, because there's Christmas Vacation 2, Bad Santa 2. Yeah. So maybe. But, so yeah. And basically what it is, he robs department stores with his little buddy, Tony Cox, playing Marcus, who's his cohort. And there's also Lauren Tom, is Marcus's mail order bride. This movie also features Lauren Graham as the love interest, Sue, and also Bernie Mac as Jin, the owner of the department store, I think. And the manager of one of the department stores is played by John Ritter, who would pass away shortly after filming his scenes, and that sucks. I still remember when they found out he passed away. It's like, because I grew up watching Three's Company and Nick at Night, and so now he's dead. So it's just like, oh, damn. I think it's just a toilet. I'm hearing a sound. You heard the shh, but now I'm hearing like a weird. I think it's just a toilet. Sorry. So Willie is doing this thing when he meets a little kid played by Brett Kelly named Thurman Merman. We don't find out his name till later. He's just the kid. through most of the film. He's typical fat kid, picked on, appreciated. He lives with his grandmother because his dad is up in the mountains, which means he's actually in prison for embezzlement. And through this kid, Willie starts to, lighten up a bit, but not really. Like, it's not a big turnaround. It's just like Willie's a piece of shit. Okay, he's a piece of shit. He's drunk. And Ray watches and go, wow, he's really good at playing drunk. Because he wasn't playing. Bill Bob Thornton is a method actor. He was actually drunk. He would drink like 3 glasses of wine every morning for breakfast, and he'd get drunk to do these performances. And so, yeah, that's why it's that good. Looks that good because he was actually drunk. So, yeah, there's some weird relationship thing between him and Sue, which, being that she's on the Mighty Ducks TV show, which I'm watching with my son, it's very weird for her to be like, fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa, fuck me Santa. Which I think is just a double when we see it, the act. Which we don't see any nudity or anything, but it's just like, maybe in the unrated version, who knows. This is the theatrical version. There are 3 versions of this movie. There's the theatrical version, the unrated version, and the director's cut. The director is Zwigoff, or whatever the hell his name is. Zwigoff, I was close. Did, because the studio came in. He wanted to sell this to Universal, but they said, hell no, get out of here. And so they sold it to Dimension. And when you look at the names on there, Harvey Weinstein. Ha! Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, Willie starts to, I wouldn't say be a better person, but because, like, they do the, I don't know, the thing with the Advent calendar, they eats that up, and then there's other stuff. There's a whole thing that the grandma might be dead. The grandma's played by Cloris Leachman, by the way, who passed away almost a year ago now. Maybe a year ago. That sucks. He's not Ukrainian bakery. He's not Ukrainian bakery. It's my Ukrainian bakery. It's not my Ukrainian bakery. I'm dead. That's from Girl Meets World, by the way. But so I would say that Thurman lightens him up, like, I guess the only big breakthrough scene is after it's towards the end of the film, but basically Willie at one point is trying to kill himself, but Thurman comes in and he's like, hey, give this note to the police for me after I'm dead. But he doesn't kill himself. Instead, he notices that Thurman has a black eye, and so he goes to kick these kids' asses, basically. We see him, yeah. And then the scene afterwards when he's talking to Mark, he's like, I beat the shit out of these kids. And I don't know, something's changed in me. I don't know. Basically, kind of talking about how he might change his ways. Who knows? And apparently, I have a Bill Bob Thornton impression. Beat shit out of these kids. Maybe some sandwich. What is it with you and the fucking sandwiches? That's the whole thing. Is she says that, and the grandma keeps thinking he's the dad. She's like, "Oh, let me make you some sandwiches." And it's like, what the hell is the obsession with sandwiches? But yeah, hold on. I gotta put my nose. Trying to ignore it, but it won't go away. I'm back in the saddle again. I'm back. Okay, yeah, and then it turns out, excuse me, Bernie Mac's character, Jin, that guy, he figures out what they're doing, and so he says, "Hey, you gotta give me half." We have this scene. It's another one of those scenes where it's supposed to be funny, but it just goes on and on. Where he's like, "I want half, 30%, half, 35, but 32, half, 35, half, 38, half, 40, half, 45." You get what I mean? It goes on. It gets to 49%. 49%. Half. And then Marcus looks at Willie and was like, "What the hell is one more percent?" I did that. What the hell difference is one more percent? True. Yeah. And then Marcus and his mail order bride kill Willie. But not Willie. Jin. Excuse me. They kill Jin. Willie's the main character. He didn't get killed. Yeah. And then, so yeah. They rob the place, right? They rob the place. There's so much stuff that I'm not talking about because it's basically him falling down, him pissing himself, he's getting drunk, he's breaking bottles on windshields, that sort of thing. It's just, there's a lot of that in it, a lot of cursing, hell of a lot of cursing. No, 2003, I was in high school and I wasn't allowed to watch this movie. Wasn't allowed in our house. My stepdad at the time watched this. My mom's first husband watched this. And then it wasn't allowed in the house afterwards. Yeah. So yeah. That's what a big deal it was in our house. But yeah, and then I got this from my mom because my current stepdad had it. So yeah, I figured Christmas review a year late, so here I am. And yeah, but Willie, he gets Thurman a pink elephant that he wanted. Then Marcus turns on him, but the kid turned in the letter to the cops, so the cops show up. Now, at one point, Willie goes to live with the kid and his grandmother because the cops show up at the hotel room looking around. So why add in the addition of Thurman telling the cops about giving the cops the letter? Why not just say that, hey, we figured out what you were doing and we caught you? I don't know. But yeah, and he is relentless. Marcus and his bride get taken to prison, or to the mountains. And Willie is chased all the way back to Thurman's house where he goes to deliver the elephant and gets shot 8 times, we find out. But then through a letter that Willie's writing, he's in a hospital, he's going to get released. Sue is now living at the grandma's house with Thurman and is now the legal guardian of him. Or Mrs. Santa's sister, because he makes a comment that he can't live at the North Pole because Mrs. Claus caught him fucking her sister. And so, because he's with Sue, he thinks she is Santa's sister. Santa, Mrs. Claus's sister, but for him it's Mrs. Santa's sister. So Mrs. Claus's sister. Yeah, I don't know. Kids, am I right? And there's the thing, the subplots with the kids picking on him. This kid just like kicks him in the nuts. Because like this punk kid that looks like a young Machine Gun Kelly and this gang of kids just gave him this atomic freaking wedgie, which is the start when he shows up at the Santa thing, telling us the start of. I think that's the start of Willie's turn. It was being a nicer guy, not a nice guy per se, he's still a piece of shit, but yeah. And so the kid, shows up. He's like, I heard your friend's not around anymore. And Thurman just kicks him right in the nuts. Which is funny, there's a scene where they're trying to teach him how to defend himself, and he kicks Tony Cox in the nuts. He's like, you not kick someone in the nuts. And then he kicks Thurman in the nuts, and then he kicks Willie in the nuts. And they all just, Willie kicks him back in the nuts, and they all just fall out. The pratfall that Tony Cox does when he's kicked in the nuts by Willie is fantastic. He's like, and he flips over. Which is kind of cool. I think it was a pratfall. It might be a double. I don't know. But yeah. And the movie ends with the idea that it's going to be a happier time for Willie. But then they had to ruin it. And from everything I've seen with the trailers for the sequel, it's just more of the same. And so that means they had to undermine this ending. And that's what some things with sequels, where you eventually have sequels that don't live up to the expectation because you have to undo certain things from the first one. And I hate that. Also, it was one of those in a long line of legacy sequels like Dumb and Dumber 2 or Zoolander 2 that just didn't live up to the original. And I only remember bits and pieces of Dumb and Dumber 2. And when I eventually review that movie, I'm going to tell the story of when I went there. I think I already might have told it on the channel, but I'm going to put it in the video as well. I expect that maybe in the next Sequel Mania. I have to do a couple of pick 10s in the coming year to set that up, but Bad Santa for me, it's the middle of the road. It's the middle of the road. I appreciate Billy Bob Thornton's performance, but really he's the worst thing in this movie. He is a terrible character, and it kind of lessens the fun I'm having. I'm laughing, but then you got this piece of shit character doing mean things. But it's the middle of the road for me. So, what are your thoughts on Bad Santa? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.